What's up, Vol Nation? I've slept on it. I've thought about it. I'm still not happy about it. This is Tennessee versus Auburn the next day. Make sure you hit that like, that share, that subscribe. This is Frank. This is the House of Orange coming at you. Going to try to look this thing from a basketball standpoint. I did a post-game video last night. Pretty pissed, and I'm still pretty pissed about it. In a game like that, when it comes down to it, but both sides had complaints with the officials. When it boils down to it, I'm going to discuss basketball here. I'm not going to talk about officials because either way, I mean, either team that lost that game is probably going to have complaints last night. Just so happens we have them because we were on the wrong end of it. When it boiled down to it, Auburn hit the shot at the end. Tennessee did not. All right, so let's go with that one on it. Looking at what happened here, I'm going to go good, the bad, and the ugly on this. The good, Tennessee's defense. A lot of Auburn fans come in and said rugby style. Well, no, that's Tennessee defense. Tennessee's defense last night shut the number one offensive efficiency rated team down. They shut them down offensively. The only problem is Tennessee couldn't score enough points to win. It's two teams, very good defensive teams. All right, that was one of probably the better defensive efforts of the Rick Barnes era. And yes, it's a physical style of basketball. No, it's not. If we want to get into the holding and stuff all night long, I could go with this one. Broom should have fouled out a long time before. Well, he never fouled out. I could go back and nitpick him all night long on fouls if we really want to get into that. But the bottom line for Tennessee, you shot 4 out of 22 from three-point range. You shot 17 out of 54 field goals, 13 out of 16. And you know what? There was a big miss late in the game. Big miss late that would have left that game tied. Or not tied, I'm sorry, would have left Tennessee down one. And then, you know, we can look at the shot at the end. I didn't like it because was it a pretty good look? Yeah, but your guy's shooting it's 0 for 5 on the night from three-point range. I don't like it. There's 10 seconds left when he takes that shot. Yeah, I mean, again, it was a decent look, but the way Zakai Ziegler was breaking down Auburn's defense all night, now he missed a number of layups too on it, but still, yet I would have taken my chances, letting him pull it out, see if he could make something happen on a drive, and maybe you kick it out to Chaz. I don't know who you trust. Really, to me, it's either Ziegler or Chaz that takes that last shot on it because Gainey had fouled out at that point. So you didn't have the luxury of him to take it. And Milicic, I mean, had a rough night offensively as well. So to me, that's, I mean, maybe you could have gotten an oop out of it to Para. I don't know. I know some, one buddy of mine, he said he didn't have a problem with it. I did because it was too much time left. I mean, even if you hit that, Auburn's going to get the ball with around 9 seconds left. They're going to get, you know, a chance at that last shot. And with their length and stuff, you got to think there's a good possibility they could have gotten it inside and at least probably drawn a foul. So I would have taken that thing down to the end on it. I thought it was a rush shot. I didn't like it. And especially if Ziegler was on it last night from three-point range, I would have been good. He was 0 for 5 from that point. The dude is a phenomenal point guard. He is absolutely phenomenal the way he can dribble around, dribble through guys and stuff. The one knock on him is he's not a great shooter, and it showed up last night. Nobody was last night. That'll be the undoing of this team this year is their shooting, because I think what you have is you have an elite point guard. You have an elite floor general as far as able to run the show, distribute the basketball, create, make things happen. You have a bunch of good players on there. You don't have that elite next level guy like a Dalton Connect. And, you know, yeah, I know people get tired of hearing him mentioned, but that's the comparison on it. You don't have a Connect. You don't have a Grant Williams. You don't have an Admiral Schofield. Guys that were elite and could take over a ball game by themselves, and they did it numerous times. with it. Chaz Lanier can get hot at times. All right, we've seen that. But it's now we've gotten in SEC play, it's inconsistent. I don't understand what we're doing with Dubar. The number 5 offensive efficient guy in college basketball last year. When he's gotten time this year, he's done good things. But Barnes just will not play. And there were times last night, too, where it looked like Barnes was wondering why they weren't scoring. There were times you had 3 and 4 dudes on the court that don't shoot or can't shoot well. What do you expect? If you're Barnes moving forward with this program, if you're ever going to get over that hump, man, we got to, I cannot stress it enough. You got to recruit guys that can shoot. I get you've got to have those glue guys and stuff, but I don't know. The amount of times with Tennessee basketball that we've had lineups of guys that can't shoot just blows my mind on it. And, there was an interesting tweet I seen from Meshack's mom last night talking about it kind of alluded to really the system is set up for Ziegler, Gainey, and Lanier to do the shooting and the other guys just to kind of adapt to the system. I've said it before. I think Meshack could score 10 a game if he got the shot. Milicic is struggling right now. He had a rough night last night. He had, let me go back to it. He had 4 points and 2 rebounds. This dude's better than that, man. He's better than that. I'm telling you, I'm still a believer in Milicic. Akpara's doing his job, 6 points, 9 boards last night. Meshack had 7. Gainey had 8. I mean, Gainey was 3 out of 10 last night. Cade Phillips had 1 point. Dubar played 1 freaking minute last night and scored 1 point. He had 2 turnovers in that time. And Barnes pulls him and won't put him back in. Barnes is that's my fear a lot of times too, that his system, we've seen numerous guys who were supposed to be really good offensively come in and lose it here. And I don't think it's a coincidence. Connect has been more the exception rather than the norm, that he come in and they really trusted him to take games over. That offense, the way it run last year with him, we've not seen it like that any other time with it. And I'm really afraid with this team now that we're seeing it. And again, the SEC is stacked. The fact that you really could have won that game last night against Auburn, it says a lot. This is a good basketball team too. It's a flawed offensive team, and they need to figure something out on it, because I can tell you right now, it's not going to get any easier right now. The road ahead is going to be pretty rough, because Tuesday night at 7, you got Kentucky coming to town. Next Saturday at noon, you got Florida coming to town. Wednesday the 5th, you got Missouri coming to town as well. Then you go to Oklahoma, you go to Kentucky. There's not an easy game in this league at any time on any night. Doesn't matter if you're at home or if you're away. There does not seem to be a weak team anywhere in the league. And where does this team go from here? You've got to figure out your offense, though. And I think expecting sometimes something becomes a trend. Chaz Lanier is going to score you points, 10, maybe up to 20 points. All right, he had a good game against Mississippi State. That's very encouraging. Well, Auburn's a different breed, though. Auburn is really good defensively. So, I mean, yeah, it was both teams. It was, I mean, the stats, you look across the board, the stats were pretty similar. I mean, Auburn did win the rebounding battle 41-37. Assists, Tennessee had 10 assists to 12 turnovers. Auburn was 11-11, so pretty close. 9 blocks for Auburn, 5 for Tennessee, 8 steals for Auburn, 7 for Tennessee. I mean, Auburn was ahead a little bit on these columns, but just not a drastic difference on that. I mean, even their field goal percentages and stuff, they, for the game, were just 3 out of 20 from 3-point range. So, no, they shot 15% from 3-point range, but they hit the big one when it mattered, when Kelly hit that 3. And it was, Yeah, it was a good defensive play from Tennessee to block Broom, and it just happened to go right back to him, and he had the awareness to get it out to Kelly and drained it. That was a big time shot. It was a big time play. It was big time awareness on their part. I'll give Auburn credit. It was a dogfight. It's two really good teams. It's two physical teams. I don't like a lot of Auburn's antics. I'm not going to sit here and lie about it, but it is what it is. And two, I'll be point blank. I despise Auburn. I despise them because going back to when I was growing up, your big two, this was before the SEC. This was before South Carolina, Arkansas even come in. Your big two rivals were Alabama and Auburn. That was it. Despise Auburn with a passion and everything, and I especially do with Bruce Pearl on there. But I'll give them credit. They are a heck of a team. It's going to take a real effort to beat Auburn this year, but I hope Tennessee sees them again later on. I really do. Maybe, and I say that with respect because I want to play them again. I want to get a shot at them again, and it may not go good as well, but hopefully we'll see them, whether it's I would rather see them in the NCAA tournament. I don't even care what happens in the SEC tournament. I just don't. It's a joke. They should do away with it, in my opinion, but I'm going to beat that drum until they go away. But the bottom line with Tennessee, when we go down to it, they just didn't make enough plays, didn't make enough shots last night. And that you're not going to beat good teams on the road like it, even though their defensive effort was insane. It was crazy last night how well they played defensively to shut Auburn down. And that was legit defense, too. I'm not there in practice, obviously, but Dubar, I want to see more from him. Milicic, he's better than this. I'm just telling you, we got to have other guys to step up. And I'll be honest, I don't need to see Ziegler shooting 6 threes a game or as many as he does. He's not a high-level shooter. He's streaky. He has his moments. I'm good with Danny. I'm good with Lanier doing them. Somebody else has got to step up, though. Let them play, man. Let them play. You're going to need it moving forward with it because it's starting to look like some of these teams, these frustrating teams over the years where, yeah, they could get into one of those games in the tournament and get bounced because of these offensive nights. And that is a bit of a concern for me. But I'm going to wrap up on that one. You guys have a great rest of your day. Make sure you hit the like, the share, the subscribe. Frank, House of Orange, even in defeat, it's always a great day to wear the orange.